Hello. This is Happy Valley Hobbies, and these are hobbies that make me happy. Back from a 2 week hiatus. Uh, just the beginning of the. All right, let's see. Yeah, beginning of the month was a little bit on the crazy side, so let's go to. Let's redo the phone. There we go. All right. Let's see. Top chat. Da-da-da. Oh, hello there. I believe David and Valley's 56XX. Back there. And thank you for coming in and all that fun stuff. Sorry for being a bit discombobulated. I mean, it has been 2 weeks, so apparently I've forgotten a lot of stuff. Especially since it says 1 waiting. Now it says 7 watching. All right. Because, well, I started a little early. Like everyone else, trying to get it at the same exact time, but oh well. Although I am contemplating on changing my time, because there's things I want to do on. There's a couple of things I want to be able to do on a Sunday night, which when I started doing Sunday nights, I didn't really care. But now that I've been on Sunday nights for a while now, every now and then it's like, it'd be nice to actually change it. But at the time, I didn't know exactly, when to change it. But now I'm actually thinking that maybe doing, instead of being the unofficial and unauthorized pre-show of Sidetrack Sunday, is to become the the unauthorized and I forget what the other un was. Huh. Wow, I must be really out of it. My 4th of July was pretty boring. It's I would have to say unfortunately, because of I didn't have everything scheduled properly. I forgot that there were things going on and all that, so I didn't get to meet people that I knew, but I did sort of go to the Bennington, the town of Bennington's 4th of July fireworks display, which was sort of kind of interesting. It was like every other 4th of July fireworks show. Would have been nice to actually hung out with people that I knew, but oh well. Sort of kind of on the boring side. And the thing is that the whole week was sort of off because my company was doing inventory, and the thing is, we were told basically right on. It was on the last day of June. That Monday, we were told, don't even bother coming in. So we're like, all right. Annoyingly, it's one of those things that had to take a vacation day for it. It's like, hello there, Andy. Thank you for coming in. It's, in my opinion, not the best way to do things. I mean, if you're willing and able to work, and a lot of people sort of like think this is that, you know, if you're willing to work, ready to go and all that, and you turn around and, you know, close the plant because of, you know, things beyond the employee's control, why are you punishing them for, you know, it's like, oh well, take away your stuff or something like that, which I guess a lot of places that if they close down, they turn around and you know, they still pay their employees, but the ones that have to come in anyway, they get time and a half. But this particular company's, I guess, too cheap to do that. So seems every now and then, you know, they do something that's like going like, wait a second, you're actually going and punishing the employees for something that you're doing. But you know, it's one of the, I guess, disadvantages of not being a unionized company either. I've worked for worse companies and all that, so they're not the most egregious company I've worked for. But it is sort of kind of, a lot of people are, well, they're annoyed, but at the same time they don't really say anything because it's from my understanding, the company is the largest manufacturer in correction, the largest non-food manufacturer in the state of Vermont. Basically, the largest manufacturer that makes food is Ben & Jerry's. Everybody knows Ben & Jerry's. Not many people know who know what Mac Molding does. So there's that lot of not really that much pushback. But yeah, so I had to use a vacation day for Monday. On Tuesday, you know, we came into work. It says, well, we might not be working. And what I was told, which I found out was I misinterpreted it, I guess, is that, you know, show up to work, and after 4 hours, you know, if they let us go home, we get paid for the other 4 hours. Well, what had happened is that I actually they told us to leave after 5 hours. And then I found out that, I had to use vacation time or, you know, part of my own time and all that to make up for the 3 hours that I wasn't there twiddling my thumbs, which I thought was not the way to do it. But apparently I misinterpreted. I thought it was like, you know, you stay for 4 hours, you get paid for the other 4, which was not true, and was not that quite, you know, I did sort of question it after a while, but it's like, oh no, this is how it's done. Oh, so that's not what I remember, but okay. Again, it wasn't to me, it wasn't the employee's fault that I couldn't work the full 8 hours. But that's sort of my beef on that. So I'm expecting a hello there, Russ. Thank you for coming in. So that's why I'm sort of, you know, expecting a short paycheck for that specific week. And then the next Monday, let's see, which was the 7th. No, it's one of those things. Notifications. Hey, update your gaming hood. It's a gaming hub, programs. It's like I don't play video games on this machine. Why is this on here? Yeah, that's another thing is that I'm getting sort of annoyed with current operating systems. It's like, all of a sudden there's when I first got this computer, I was able to use the I was able to use my regular lighting for my webcams. And then, unfortunately, it seems that it kept on, updating and getting more and more bloated and all that, and slowing down to the point where I can now have to revert back to the lighting that I had before. So you don't get the wavy lines going through everything. Thankfully, the main webcam doesn't do that, but unfortunately, that's oh my. Ooh, yes, that sounds very, yeah, especially when you're doing stuff in a heat wave. No matter how passionate for your whatever your hobby is, if it's in the middle of a heat wave, the heat just. Oh my, where the hell did that come from? Yeah, the heat waves have a tendency to take fun and turn it into hard work. But not sure. There's something stuck in my throat. I'm not quite sure what it is, but yeah, on the next Monday, I had forgotten to turn around and turned off. I turned off my alarm on Monday and Friday. Well, it's not really a sneeze. It's stuck in the throat, not the nose. So it'll be a very large cough, I guess, if it decides to go that direction. So I forgot to turn the alarm back on. So, I try to take a nap before going to work. So when I go back to, I'm hopefully eventually getting back into first shift instead of second. So, no problems for us. It's not your fault. It's my throat. Wow. Okay, whatever it is, it moved, but didn't move completely. But as I was saying, I wound up turning off the alarms. And I like to take a nap before going to work, so when I go back to first shift and have a normal night's sleep and all that, I could my body will automatically snap up and ready to go. And I would go to sleep, wake up a little, say, no, it's just just not really having a hard time falling asleep. And then I had to realize, like, wait a minute, why is this the sun is now shining into my bedroom because it's on the west side. Same thing with where I'm pointing now is west. It didn't make any sense. It's like, wait a second, why is there sun in my bedroom? It's usually that doesn't make any sense. So I'm like, all right, how much time do I have? All right, I'm wide awake. I might as well stay up and all that. So I looked at the clock. I was supposed to be there at 3, and it was 4:15, and I'm like, wait, what? And then it's like, oh, no, it's not a swing shift. It's strictly second. I think swing would probably throw my schedule even farther off now than it is. But I do. I found out, I can set a schedule ahead of time to say, hey, I want to change shift for this day and all that. So I finally figured out that particular paperwork. Mainly because there's a group that once a month, they meet on a Friday night, which for the pretty much for the past, since November, or actually the first meeting would have been on the December that I missed, and wound up politely asking. It's like, hey, what do I, can I get? It was actually June. Can I get switch on June and all that? I was told yes, but the thing is, they never properly told me what the proper paperwork was until I actually had, oh, you're supposed to do this. It's like, oh, so sorry. First, last time I asked, which was around, I think it was around New Year's. I asked the same thing, but at that specific time, I was still working for J.J. Young, so that's probably why they didn't tell me, the proper paperwork at that time. But so I wound up being an hour and a half late for the first Monday and all that. So it was like, oh, that's your first strike, and do you want to use any time off and all that to make it up and all that? And I'm thinking, it's like, oh, hello there, Wigwag. Thank you for coming in. I made calculations like, I'm like, where have I been? I took a couple of basically what I did was take a couple of weeks off. It was 4th of July weekend, so it just made I just turned around and was like, decided to take a couple of weeks off, and also I have been thinking of there's some things I want to start doing on Sunday nights. So I am in the process of also thinking about changing from being the unofficial and unauthorized pre-show of Sidetrack Sunday to be the unauthorized and unofficial pre-show for Back on Track on Saturday mornings. So I'm not sure if what people's thoughts are on that. Not quite sure when I'll start that specifically. I might try it this weekend. Set the alarm and all that, and see how it goes. I'm very appreciative of the people that show up on Sunday nights. Thank you very much. And also thanks for people who watch this afterwards. Probably ones who watch this on the replay on the recorded side, not the live side. I'm assuming would not affect them that much, but I would assume that people who are here now, that would affect them. I think it would make things easier for Andy, and I'm trying to think who the other person is. And Valleys. Since since both of you are across the pond, it might make things easier for you, or since I think it would be in the afternoon, you might be doing other things. So I may want, using a STS. All right, thank you, Andy. And thank you for the link. Who is doing STS tonight? I think I should know this. Yeah, DV Tech. I was, it's one of those. Now that they got new people and all that, it's hard to keep track of who it is. So if I remember correctly, yeah, I would have to say, as long as you have a waterproof phone, go ahead. Where I live, well, I don't think we have a pond, but we do have a small river and a stream. So I would assume those would be very, 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 very cool, especially the stream, because this green, Vermont being the Green Mountains, there's usually a lot of water coming off the mountains, and that water is usually cooler because, well, the mountains are cooler. Probably not as cold as the Rocky Mountains, even though the you never lived in inland. All right. Yeah, Vermont is, well, it's considered the only New England state that's inland. It does have a good portion of the. Yeah, the interesting thing is that even though it's inland, most of the border, let's see, the eastern border and half of the western border is water. Yeah, the eastern border is the Connecticut River, and the western border, half of it, over half of it's the Champlain, Lake Champlain. So technically, there's a lot of water around Vermont. It's just that. Thank you for the American translation for the temperature. There's a lot of times I would, sort of have tempted to change the temperature on my phone to Celsius, just to get used to what that is. I recently just watched it was a YouTube short, saying that how well people are good with figuring out what how much 20 centimeters were, and they turned around, they took one of the measuring tapes that you can lock, and they taped the other side, which was I thought was kind of odd, because it's the side that you don't read anyway, so there's no markings on it, but apparently they put tape on it just to say, it's like, hey, how, pull it out to see pull it out at what you think is 20 inches or 20 centimeters, and go from there. And a bunch of them got close. There was like one was like 19.8. Another one was 21 millimeter, or 20.1 centimeters and stuff like that. Yeah, it's roughly 8 inches. But they're trying to say, how close can they figure out how long would that be? the one that was the furthest off was, you know, something like, you know, it's like, no, that's, you know, 15 centimeters. So it was like he only pulled it out that much. The funny thing is, I guess the people who do welding and all that got the worst off of it. So it's one of those things of going like, yeah, that's, you know, everyone here is pretty good except for the welders, you know. But not only that, it also depends. From my understanding, it also depends on what you define as an inch. There was, I guess, the ongoing joke with Napoleon Bonaparte is that he was a shorter, you know, he was a short man, you know, he was a short man, and then, you know, it's like, oh, I'm a man of normal size. And that was, from my understanding, is that the French inch is larger than the English inch. So it winds up being, yeah, 2.54 approximate. You know, it's like, you know, it depends, you know, you add decimal places, depends on how accurate you want to be. And this, I guess, so that was the ongoing joke that Napoleon was short. But apparently he actually is, you know, he was actually normal size for people of the time because they were using two different size inches. And I think even the American inch is slightly different than British inch. And all the other different ones. Yeah, pretty much. You know, it's like, and I think, you know, the difference between the inches, why they went that way. Well, I guess I'm average. I guess at 5'9". But but that's one of the things is there was one of the Humanity Junction videos. Heath had Rick the Tree at his layout in New York City and all that, and I've actually met Heath in person. He is shorter than I am, and hello there, James. Thank you for coming in. And then let's see. And then he had Rick the Tree there, which I think is a good. a good head taller than him. And the funny thing is that, you know, we all aim the camera a certain way and all that, and depending on how you show up on it, it's like, I mean, I have a tendency to have it higher, which I'm assuming makes me, you know, people assume that I might be shorter, but I'm pretty average, I guess, height wise. But Heath is shorter than me. I think he comes up to, I think, around my mouth or something like that. But Rick Bailey, I never met Rick, but I'm assuming his height might be maybe up to there. If I'm comparing if I'm comparing heights and stuff like that, so so he's a relatively tall guy, but he also, oh no. But and I'm also trying to think of, you know, other people's heights also. But it is one of those things of when you finally meet somebody in person. Uh, yeah, I know when I was younger and all that, we didn't. When I was younger and all that, we didn't have these on the telephone on TV. So guess what? Uh, I was usually the remote to change the channel. I think I was in high school. We finally had gotten a television that had a remote on it, but the remote was much simpler than this. I think it had I want to say almost half the buttons. I mean, it didn't have all the preset buttons on here. It's like, so it was closer to that. And the thing is, my father, it's one of those things, I loved him dearly, but anything that had more buttons on a telephone, he was sort of kind of lost. But he was a product of, my parents were a product of their generation, and I'm a product of my generation. Nice. And that's one of the things I think a lot of people need to sort of kind of realize as I've gotten older and wiser, realizing that my parents weren't they weren't perfect, but they did the best they can. There are some things I wish they. So we just go here. Choose that. There we go. Sorry about that. I just happened to realize my task manager was underneath a tab. It's like, wait a minute, why doesn't it look right? But and that's just it. We're all product of our particular our surroundings affect us who we are. But it's now 7:16. I guess it's time to from my understanding, the British term is waffling. I'm not sure why they call it waffling, because that's a food. But let's see about changing. I had to. Let's see. Oh, they have changed the interface, and they made it more annoying for the live cameras. All right, let's see. All right, still, I'm not able to name the camera, so for my for my other external waffling is the best. Is that making waffles or just babbling along? Let's see. Yeah, my webcams are set up as live camera. It doesn't say which live camera is which one, and I can't. No, won't let me change that. So, do I have the right one? Allow. Yes. All right. So that's the correct one. Let's do the incorrect one. Just let it all allow stuff and all that. Okay, there's that. Huh. Yeah, the camera's backwards. Is that where it says it's supposed to say caboose number 5 here, not number 2 hashtag that. So yeah, these are backwards. How do I change them so they're right side, the correct direction? Where is that? Wait a second. No, that camera is correct. Why is the other one wrong? Why is this one backwards. All right, let's see now. Let's turn mirror off my camera. Okay, that's correct. Sorry about this, folks. All right. So, okay. Don't do simultaneous. Yeah. All right. Now we're relatively back in business. Why, thank you, Sparky, and thank you for coming in. Just took a slight hiatus to, it was 4th of July weekend. So decided to take a different break. Also, as I've been mentioning, I have been sort of thinking on changing my time. And I am sort of kind of contemplating on, instead of being the unauthorized and unofficial pre-show for Sidetrack Sunday, I am sort of thinking about being the unauthorized and unofficial pre-show for On Track on Saturday morning. And that's what I've been contemplating. Oop, need to have phone. Okay. There we go. Now to remember where I left off. Let's move the camera down just a little bit. And it's not wanting to stay. There, fine. All right. And I'm a little bit too far that way, so let's move this way. Well, it's not lined up with the light, but it's lined up with this. So I knock everything over. All right. So let's see. Now we gotta see about repositioning this. And it looks like, well, the thing is, I didn't put much glue on here because I didn't want it to break, but at the same time, it looks like by not putting not enough glue on it, it decided not to stay glued. All right, how am I gonna figure this out? Put that up against this. Clamp, 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 clamp. Smaller clamp. Yes, Back on Track is the Sunday morning. Which one's what time would suit me? Don't know yet. But at the same time, I don't want to, disappear in the meantime, even though I did take a 2-week hiatus. Actually, not clamp. A different kind of clamp. Not a real clamp, but a clothespin. That's what I'm looking for. Uh, the process of grabbing some clothespins, hold stuff together. And one of the things that may find interesting, thing is you turn around and get different size clothespins, because sometimes you really need a really small clothespin, or you get the normal size clothespin, and then you have small clothespin. Now the smaller clothespins, I believe I got from like the trash section of the dollar store. One thing you can do with any of them is you can flip them around a little bit, and you have a different style of clamping. Let's see. So I've done that with that one. So you able to do it with the smallest ones? If I did, there's not one that's rarely. Ooh, wait a second. As soon as I say that, I find one. I think not. Things with the small ones, they look so they're so small that don't quite work into that. Oh, hello there, Eugene. Oh, and Dan from Dan's Model Railroading Journey. So you get when you turn your back and all of a sudden people show up. Maybe I should look away from the chat more often. All right, so for this, that is a good question. Which one am I going to use? So you want to sort of have this at the same level. That work? One of the issues that I have is that I might not made the trestle tall enough. There's that. And there's that. And that's one of the disadvantages. I didn't put enough glue on this because I didn't want to. If I had to make adjustments, I could, but at the same time, that winds up making things a little bit too loose. All right, gonna need more glue. Yeah, they're definitely useful pins to have. Another useful thing to have is, well, this is a work badge that doesn't work properly, so I am using it as a glue palette because the glue does not stick to this. Okay. So break that joint there. Hello, Sam Dickinson. Thank you for coming in and joining us. The process of building a well, it's a combination bridge trestle. So this one seems to be basically I grabbed all the ugly toothpicks to use them as glue applicators. That one has a section that looks like it might be breaking off, so that's why I'm putting glue on the side to do that. Yeah, my thought process is that well, the thing is, I have people come on a lot. I turn around and I give them a blue little wrench as a moderator, and I found that although not as prolific as Anthony Dodds, the Train Outsider. Let's get this more that. But the bridge that I have done is what's called a covered truss bridge. A normal covered bridge, has the roof on it and all that fun stuff. But the covered truss bridge, it only covers the trusses. It winds up making the bridge last a lot longer, but not as long as a full covered bridge, because the center is still exposed. But basically, this particular bridge, I have basically going across this little canal. And the trestle I went scratch built. And now trying to, turn around and get it properly centered. At least this one button right here. So James, what is Andy starting? I'm assuming his own YouTube channel? Yeah, all right, so that's all right. That's where I want that. Yes, this is HOW6. Basically, I don't have the tracks on it yet, but this is a locomotive that I re-gauged to 6 foot. One of the interesting things when I first, this is a Hunter line kit, and hello. Thank you, PK&W. Yes, I noticed that there was some disconcerting that I wasn't around. Apparently, my community post didn't go out to everyone, I guess, because they sent one out saying that, hey, I'm not going to be showing up for a couple of weeks, but no one picked up on that. All right. So I am, back to this regularly scheduled program, but I am also contemplating on changing said schedule. But I do have some dioramas that do have 6 foot gauge on it. But unfortunately, right at this specific time, it's going to be a little well, since I'm working on one diorama, it's very hard to bring the other ones in. But yeah, so far I've re-gauged a locomotive to 6 foot. It actually was not as hard as I would have thought, because I thought there would be a lot of stuff that would be in the way. On this particular model, the only thing that was really in the way is I had to trim some of this tank away, to clear this driver. And also basically take the side rod, sort of flip it around, squish the crosshead a little bit, so that cleared this. So right now the challenge is trying to figure out how to get wheel sets or all right. So so yeah, eventually once this diorama is done, it's going to be a covered truss bridge with a small 3 bent two bent trestle with an abutment, and then going over a canal. Got to figure out how am I going to do like a small stream in this area, because it sort of kind of would make sense to have a stream over here, and because of the shape of everything. I'll probably make it a very small stream, but ooh, strange books. What I have to say, it's one of those things that'd be nice to, the heart icon is right in the middle of it. I'm surprised they haven't figured out a way to. Well, I would have to say turn around and actually have it. Let's see, chat filter, top messages, no, all messages. There we go. I think that is good enough. Well, that's interesting. I put the bridge down. It moves that way. We lift the bridge, it goes up. Let's move this down a bit. Okay, that's straight up and down. All right. Now let's see. All right. All right. Now I gotta, you know, sorry that there's a lot of glue drying tonight. But right now there's no good way of clamping this down. So I guess I have to use my fingers to get it approximately where I want it. One thing I'm actually sort of kind of possibly regretting is not pre-staining the wood. But, well, I'd say sort of letting people go to do something that's more exciting than watching glue dry. Switch back to cameras. All right, back to. I have to say the changing cameras is a little. Yeah, I mean I would have to say it. They don't use slugs. Yeah, you're correct. Passenger cars do not use slugs. They do use B units though. So if you want to go that direction. But yeah, I guess tonight is, from my understanding, is DB Tech. The leash won't stay on. Thing is, you got to use actual snails, then you can actually put the a leash fits better on the shell. But on that note, gentlemen, I guess I'll let you wander over to DB Tech to see what he's up to tonight, and I guess look out for me showing up on Saturday, showing up on a Saturday to see how, or Saturday morning to see how well that works. You are very welcome. I'm blanking on your name, PKW. But while I'm here, let's see. We'll make you a standard moderator. And since you are part of the STS crew. But yeah, for those for those who show up live, thank you very much for coming. And for anyone who's watching this afterwards, thank you for watching. So for my outro is basically, I believe that the world needs more love. So find your passion, add some silliness to it, and spread it around. Bye.